Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good day, whatever time it is for you, because time is fleeting, isn't it? What is time? Well, time's going to change for everybody right now. I have some very important topics I want to talk about today, okay? Very important, from how to truly meditate, okay? I'm going to tell you how to truly meditate, how you really need to work that meditation right now to ride those waves of frequency and sound like I've talked about before. I'm going to also talk about what happened on day one of the Lionsgate Christ Return portal. We are in the final Nile portal. I've talked about that a lot on my channel recently. So this is it. This is the end. This is the final shift, okay? So these things are quite important. I am going to pull a couple cards for you, what to surrender, and ascension guidance from my ascension deck that I created while I was activating the portals during the Return of Christ work, okay? And then I also want to talk to you about anxiety and your body's emotions and what they're trying to tell you right now, because that is going to cloud you if you don't understand what that is. And I see a lot of influencers, spiritual people misguiding a little bit, and maybe not be known to what they're doing, right? Maybe not intentionally, but these are things that God wants me to cover today, okay? So let's get into it. My name is Juniper Bloom Mystique. I am an Ascension Master, Master Healer, and Divine Guide. Since 2019, I had a sudden Kundalini awakening, and then things started happening to me and through me for the return of Christ. From raising Atlantis to clearing Mount Shasta to activating all pyramid portals back to the beginning of time, feminine and masculine, Indonesia, Myanmar, Budapest, Machu Picchu, Peru, Thailand, and more. Okay, and then we went into the masculine ones of Kilimanjaro, Congo, British Columbia. Kilimanjaro, I activate and blew up 3 times. Clearing Mount Shasta, which was not a light at all. That's depicted here. Somebody else did that painting. Took us into 7D. Battled my twin flame journey, united with my own DM. The original one did not make it. Cleared the Holy Grail, united Jesus and Mary Magdalene timeline. Sekhmet and Hours, and Adam and Eve had returned. Okay, so that is the totality in a very quick version of what the return of Christ was. But it took me 5 years to do, you guys. And we had a 7-year trial tribulation period, right? But God cut it short because a lot of people weren't choosing past the resistance. They weren't choosing past the resistance and choosing love. And unfortunately, a lot of people brought judgment to the return of Christ. And you can't do that, right? It's like mocking God. It's like we just couldn't see past the resistance enough. So recently on the full moon, I showed you God took us into the final portal, which is the Nile. Now, during the return of Christ work, that came after I activated the feminine masculine pyramids, the resurrection of Christ, which happened on Christmas Day, undoing the Holy Grail. Then we went into the Sekhmet portal, which is the Nile, okay? And I called my power back from that lifetime, cleared the crystal in the core of the earth from darkness to light, which shot across the collective whole in a karmic wrath, okay? Which you are now in the karmic play out. God was holding space for that, but he said no more, because nobody was choosing to listen or clear it or get past the resistance, right? Love, unconditional love. So within the Nile portal, that's where we're at. That came about recently. God started showing me that the path had shifted, the time had shifted, the wrath path had widened. He ordered a great reset for mankind. Does that mean that nobody's going to make it through? No, you have to be heart-centered. You have to be freed of all shackles that bind you. You cannot be anchored into the matrix in any way, shape, or form. Pure sovereignty, okay? So you can't be controlled by money. You can't be controlled by fear. None of that. You have to be able to hear your body. The world has gone through and will go through a mass awakening through this portal even still, okay? But the only ones who are going to be able to rise through are those who have pure hearts, right? Those who don't have karma to clear, okay? So how do you make sure that's you? Well, if you have karma to clear, you can't bypass that. You can't cut your ties. You can't burn those contracts. I've talked about that many times. Many times. There is a lot of shadow within the spiritual community because there's shadow in all of you. Okay. Everybody has shadow, and which is what creates your karma. That's the darkness. Okay. The matrix. And in order to to get into the new earth, you had to release and heal all of that. You had to heal all of your karma, choosing against what was chosen before into unconditional love only. Okay. I'm very OCD about my glasses. You have to forgive me. I truly am OCD. And before I started healing myself, I was really bad. So I'm trying to go slow because I want to cover a few things today that are very important for you. Very important for you. That if you don't understand them, you're not going to be able to ascend anyways, right? So you can only see to where your shadow lies. You have to have a pure heart. That's what that means. You have to heal so much into your heart and clear those karmic contracts as you rose through every portal. Revelations 21:12 spoke of this. Except there's 13 gates, not 12. They lied to you about everything, everything. And you guys, you do have to release the Relesian shadow because that is not of God either. And that's coming up in the Nile portal. Because in the Nile painting they're having me doing, there's crosses burning because that is not real. The Ankh was the only true cross, okay? So all of these things needed to be known within you to be cleared, okay? When you're fully awake and completely enlightened, then you were ready, right? Then you could see it all and you were balanced from your heart center because that's where you're all at, right? I hope. Not letting judgments and fear and ego and greed or power control overrun your heart center. That's the difference between those that are in the matrix to those that are pure heart centered. Those that are pure of heart know that the world is a reflection of them. They know that everything they see was their chance to go inward and heal. Same with emotions. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about anxiety. I also want to talk about what happened yesterday in the Lionsgate portal. So there's a few different things I want to talk about. First, I'll talk about the Lionsgate portal. Okay, that's what God's saying right now. And then we'll go into anxiety, and then we'll go into meditation and how to ride those waves of frequency and sound, true meaning of synchronicities, okay? Because people still we don't fully understand it all the way. We get it a little bit, we do. All right. So yesterday was day 1 of my Lionsgate portal, and everything I do it to the earth. I am the one. This is my path. It's the path to righteousness. No matter what, you were on that path of the return of Christ, right? That's why they call it the end of days, the end of ways. God calls it the end of ways outside of God. Meaning if you can't let go of any of the components of the matrix and rise to unconditional love, you don't make it, okay? My DM and I, it is masculine and feminine, not just a man named Jesus. I've talked about that. Think of Bride of Christ. I had to come through, wake up my DM, heal him enough, free him from the shackles that binded him, which was the resurrection on Christmas Day, undoing the Holy Grail, what that truly was. It all really is relevant, okay? And then we came through the Nile. He got the life of Horus back. I got Sekhmet back. And then we went into the new earth, processed her death. And yesterday we birthed her into the Garden of Eden. Okay, so I did part 1 of my 8 days Lionsgate portal workshop. It's a lot, but God's work is vast. And I've been presenting this stuff for 5 years, and there's been so many judgments towards it rather than an open heart. And that's why God said, enough, okay? Now, De La Roca can even tell you that we are in the final timeline. However, he is also saying the 144,000 did it. And you guys, they didn't. Yesterday, I had to use the trees again. The trees were represented because the 144,000 did not unite through love all the way. And I talked about that. I talked about twin flames and how they fell prey as well to the shadow. There was a lot of people falling into the matrix, okay? Instead of choosing unconditional love and self-power. This is what wreaked havoc. This is why God said, enough, no more time to clear your karma. It's just a great reset. Okay. So only those that are going to make it through are the ones who are willing to open their heart very quickly all of the way. Or already had it. They don't have any karma. They're willing to see without judgment, without fear, and without the components of the matrix. So yesterday we did day 1. It's going to be every day. Day 2 is today at 1:11. Day 3 is tomorrow at 1:11. And I'm doing them through Zoom because I don't need to take you physically to a location. I'm going to energetically take you through your soul. Okay. And the way it went yesterday is I can see like the Nile still. We're still in the Nile portal, just like I brought through on the full moon. It shifted into the Nile portal. I showed you that. I did the workshop. I did the work. And the Nile is currently filling with blood red, right? That's a representation of everything that's going to be cleared off this planet because the planet is ascending. So do you remember when they talked about the splitting of the two worlds? That's the light from the darkness. Okay, all light has been removed from the darkness. And yesterday that was solidified. So I saw us, myself, my DM and I, and those that did the work with me were in the new earth. And there's a dividing line. It's like this barrier, almost like a portal wall. It's a portal wall, not almost like, it is a portal wall. And it's represented through this Lion's Gate portal. I hope you guys are following me because this is very important and I'm trying to go slow. But I get so excited because it's real. It affects me physically. It was a little painful because what they did is they took my DM and I in the energy and they realigned our souls because there was attempts to always rip us apart. I talked about that even to recently. Somebody got into the new earth and deliberately tried to rip it all apart. And because of that, it was quite painful. And that's when God led to the conclusion that we're done. It's just time to end this wrath stuff. Stop holding your karmic delay. And he went into the end timeline. Okay, so he shifted a whole year's time. So it's quite jarring on our system. But as we went into day one of the workshop, I do my workshop thing, right? I set the energy, I call it in. We were surrounded by lions and gods. I have the council over here, and I was standing there with my staff with the sun in it. And then all of a sudden, they took me and my DM, and I felt our souls repair, like wait. And it felt so good. It hurt. It hurt just like when I did the undoing of the Holy Grail, right? Like it hurt to repair that soul fragment, to come back together again with him. But it hurt worse to be apart. And then they put our feet together in the energy into the core of the earth. They literally took our feet and put it into the core. And then from there, we started birthing the Garden of Eden. From us into the core, into the crystalline grid, and I'm getting chills. We started birthing the Garden of Eden on this side of the earth. So there's right now it's showing two earths divided. The barrier is here, and on this side was the Garden of Eden, and that's where we were, and it was so beautiful. And the tree of life birthed, and all of this, the animals came over. Oh my gosh, I talked about me bringing the animals through the portals a long time, about a year ago I did that. We brought all the animals through the portals, and some didn't make it because they were genetically modified. So if you think you're eating real food, you have not been, not even from the meats that you've been eating, and I warned about that. But the animals that did make it came through, and they were all happy, and I can see them. And even the elementals came through, the angels came through, God, the angels, all the beauty, all the light. Everything was just abundantly beautiful. The water was so pure, so crystalline, no toxics. Like it was just so pure and so warm and so yummy. Like I was just in awe of the beauty, and it was coming through my DM and I and into the earth. Okay. And as that was happening, I then saw the other side of the earth. And the other side of the earth, which is the matrix side, okay, those that are being controlled by the matrix, those that have karma to clear, and there's the barrier. And every now and then somebody would walk through the barrier, right? Somebody would pop up through the barrier. And I saw that happening because their karma's clear, and they're going to hear the call. They're going to hear my voice, my tone, because you've been called home. This is it. We're done. And so those that are balanced alignment, don't have karma, they can hear the call without judgment and the matrix and fear and things, and they don't hesitate, right? They jump right in. They can even still purchase the path to righteousness, I guess, which is amazing, but that just shows their fortitude, the honor. And so they were coming in, right? And then on the matrix side, the path to righteousness is everything I did bringing through the return of Christ. It gets you through every portal. It takes your karma, and no matter what, calls it forward for you so that you can heal it as you get through every portal by choosing love. It gives you all the DNA. It's everything. So it was very important. all the Christ light, everything was in there. But anyways, in the matrix side, God is no longer there. The angels are no longer there. It was all barren of life support. It was like fiery red lava guy, like this monster looking being, what you would call the puppet master or El Diablo. Okay, that was the fallen. That's what God calls it, is the fallen, the ones who fell away from God, the ones who couldn't choose unconditional love. And so that side was completely barren of love and light. It was just very fiery red lava looking. Okay. And that's how it represented like lava. And it was like this monster coming out going, ah, and like yelling at us through the barrier. And it's a total carnage, karmic play out on the matrix side. There is no angels. There are no guides there, nothing. It is a total karmic play out. And then on the new earth side, it was just so beautiful. It's emotional still because it was just so beautiful and it hurt to birth it, but it's okay. It hurt to come back together with my new DM, but I was so very happy. God is so good, you guys. God is so good. He protected us through that final little bit. He brought us back together. And I was so thankful because I was afraid I lost. I don't want to lose that. You know, I fought so hard to unite with my DM and to clear all darkness for 5 years. You guys, almost every day I was doing something. It took everything I had physically to do it. And I almost died a few times doing it. Okay. Because they didn't like it. Believe me when I tell you, I was attacked. So day 1 of the Lionsgate portal, the new earth was birthed and the worlds were completely separated. There is a portal barrier. If you can't make it through this Lionsgate portal being completely balanced and heart-centered, free of the matrix, you have to be free of the matrix. You can't be shackled by them at all. So you have to know your power. You have to know you're a creator. You're a manifester. Abundance comes in, like my course would have told you if you did that course. During the Return of Christ work, I did that course for you. It's prosperity for balance, alignment for prosperity. So what that means is you have to be and balanced from your heart center. Your whole reality has to be based in New Earth blueprint, your passion, your creative work, giving back, right? All about humbled alignment, God calls it. But your passion is always stemming from a place of helping others because we're all connected. That's people with pure hearts are going to realize that. They realize that everything's a reflection. And so if there's something they don't like in somebody else, they know it's truly within them and they love unconditionally, right? And so they'll go within to heal it. So everything in your reality has to be released from the matrix. You have to know your power. They cannot create fear within you. You know, they get in your head. And every time they do, you're going to bypass it. You're going to choose unconditional love, right? That's what you've done, right? So like, I can't go work my psychology degree anymore. I can't do that. I had to stop doing that. I create courses. I've been bringing the Return of Christ every day for 5 years, almost every day. Some of that was healing and integration, especially repair from the attacks. What else do I need to say? And then you also know how to do the things like meditate, right? I hope. But if not, I'm going to tell you a really important way to do that very quickly, okay? I'm going to tell you a really important way to do it, to ride the frequencies of waves and to get out of the matrix very, very fast. Because if you don't release all shackles that bind and heal every bit of your karma right now today, you're not going to make it through that barrier. It takes a pure heart with no karma, okay? That's not a maybe, that's not a joke. That's what it is. And that's what Revelations 21:12 was trying to tell you. Except there's 13 gates. Not 12. Okay. So in the new earth, you have 13 gates of abundance. Those are the only ones who are going to have abundance. Okay. Only in the new earth. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. The sky was just so beautifully blue and there were no mosquitoes. I saw that. I was like, there's no mosquitoes. Hopefully there's no grasshoppers because I don't really like those because they jump right into you. But if there is, that's okay. It was funny. But it was beautiful and it was birthing out of my DM and I because I brought the whole new earth. Okay. That's what I am. I can't deny that. And if you can't see that by now, you had a lot of healing to do. Okay. Because if your heart is pure and open, you could see it. And even De La Roca has a piece blinding him. Do you feel me? So there's a lot of healing required, because he thinks the 144,000 did this timeline, and they did not. Okay. If you're watching my work, I had to use the trees to bring Christ light into the dome, because 144,000 twin flames did not unite all the way. Even most of them did not choose unconditional love. They chose the resistance. They chose karmic patterning, and to judge, to not be in their full power. Okay, so if they did that, a lot of the collective whole did that too. All right. And then I even saw other creators today talking about anxiety and how that is just a sign of awakening. It's part of the process. And I'm going to tell you what that really is, okay? And how to understand it, to heal it. Because you have to heal it. You need to heal everything now, like on speed dial, because you don't have a year left to heal it all. God gave you 2 years of healing time from the time I finished the return of Christ. That's why I did a video on 2 years time a while ago on here. I said we had 2 years left. That meant to heal until the karmic hit. Okay. And God said enough people were not choosing love, and their love towards the work and me and everything was quite loud. All right. So I'm trying to slow down because it's a lot of information you guys need. So day 1 was off the charts. The worlds were separated. I told you that. We are now 2 worlds. I'm in the new earth. It's so beautiful and vibrant and pure. The water is clean and crystalline, and new pure foods being born and birthed from the earth. And the animals that are pure and free are here. And the sky is so blue and crystalline. There's no more chemtrail, like no more poisons. It's so beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's all the Garden of Eden. The whole earth is going to be the Garden of Eden. I saw the tree of life being rebirthed through my DM&I. It was painful. Like we united. My solar plexus was like, ugh. It was rough to get there, but it was so beautiful. And then, like I said, the barren side, the matrix side, God is not, the angels are not, your guides will not be there. It's all void of light. It is a complete karmic carnage play out till the end of the day. Okay. Till the end till it's completely purged. So it's kind of strange, right? It's like 2 total different earths. And that's why in the beginning of the Return of Christ work that I did, you can find that on the Ascension playlist, I separated the 2 worlds. That's what that talks about. I separated all darkness from light. You cannot have a shadow side. You cannot bring shadow and karma into the new earth. You cannot. In order to be in the new earth, you have to be free, sovereign, in your own full power of a creator that you are. You are such a powerful creator. You are so powerful. They don't need to control you. You call in money. You trust that I'm not working a 9-to-5 by their control, giving up my life, misery, paying taxes, all this stuff. I am in my freedom. I let spirit guide me, my passion, my light, and I flow and I create a true entrepreneur of the new world, a different kind of entrepreneur, right? It's not about just money. It's about love. And I'm in power, and I know the universe is going to provide the abundant universe. There's no limit. There's multitude of abundance for everybody. I know this. And so I never let fear stop me. I follow my heart's creations. I'm a course creator. I'm a life coach. I'm a master healer. I have my creativities, like it's all there. Everything I do and have provided to you through every course, everything I've done is the blueprint of the new earth. It healed you. It did everything for you. That's why if they were blessed enough to have that opportunity, but unfortunately, very few took it. This is why God said nobody's choosing love. Everybody was choosing fear and power of money and all of that kind of stuff. But the only true abundance is now in the new earth. That is true. So, and I also took money into the new earth. So you shouldn't have a fear of it, right? Like they can't use the dollar bill anymore. That's why they're coming up with new currency, if you haven't noticed. Okay. Like, because they have no control over you anymore. I've given you your sovereignty, but you had to take it. I've given you your pure sovereignty from the matrix, but you had to take it through free will. And only those that do will make it through this portal into the new earth. So I don't make money every single day, but sometimes I'll wake up and there will be money there right when I needed it. And I'm like, oh, what a blessed day. It just comes through because I have my avenues open and I'm in balanced flow from my heart center. It has to be balanced, right? I can't oversaturate. If I'm in fear and lack, I'm not going to make it. And then that brings me to anxiety. I saw Victor, whatever his name is, talk about anxiety today. And honestly, I know he means well. I'm not here to talk bad about anybody because everybody's trying. Everybody's meaning well. Well, I can't say everybody, but we all know there's false prophets, okay? But those are the ones trying to bring others down, usually, right? Because God talks cryptically anyways. And you can only see to where your shadow lies, okay? So where there is shadow components to heal, that's where your understanding will stop and the matrix goes, okay? Does that make sense? So that's why for people who can't fully see who I am, they didn't heal enough, let me tell you, because if you do the entire path to righteousness, you're going to have an awakening into who I am. Okay? So because I wake you up, I call your power, we do everything in there for you that you needed for the new earth. Every course, everything I've ever done every video was your blueprint to the new earth. Okay, so anxiety, what is anxiety? In the matrix, they taught us very well to be outside of ourselves. That's not normal. We should not be, because they do that to divide and conquer you. If you're weak, they have control of you. If you're outside yourself, your vibration is low and they have control of you. Okay. So that was part of their power play. If I keep them in fear, if I keep their vibration low, I have their power. That's what they would use. And that's why there's no light at all in the matrix. There is no light. It's all like fire, like lava. It's disgusting. I shouldn't use the word disgusting because somebody might say I'm judging. But I don't know about you. When there's no light inside of you, it hurts. Okay. Like it's not a good feeling. And that's the representation of the matrix. There's no light, there's no life force, there's no support. It's all matrix controlled by the puppet, El Diablo. It's barren of light. Okay. So when they had taught you to be outside of yourself, it's going to beget anxiety, for number one. Number two, because you're trying to retach, your body's telling you something's wrong. Okay, so your body tells you so many things. This is why they like to keep you outside and numb to it. Medications, what do? They all numb you to your body, which is not a good thing. That's not how we heal. Okay, now I'm not here to argue the medical side. I know the truth about the medical side. As a master healer, I get a lot of information about that. I do a lot of healings on everything. Okay, and if you've ever worked with me, you're going to know that. It doesn't align with what they do 99% of the time. Okay, I think there was a couple times I'm like, you need saline to flush out your system or something like that. But for the most part, there's other ways. Okay, so I'm not here to argue that with you. I am not your doctor. I'm a medical healer and I'm in the new earth. I'm a master healer and I'm in the new earth. Okay, I know what it means to truly heal your body. I healed my own OCD and CPTSD. Okay, because that's where I was before my awakening. So a lot of times before somebody's awakening, they go through some of the toughest times. There's so much anxiety ensuing. And that's because you're not inward. Okay, so when you are inward, it starts to release some of that. That's when an awakening will ensue. You go inward. Then as you begin to rise more, you start to be met with some of those matrix components. So the matrix likes to get you to think ahead and to also think behind. We have so many wounds that cause us to think backwards. And we were taught to always think about the past so that we don't bring it forward, which is really strange in my opinion anyways. And then we're also taught to worry about the future. You need to make sure your future set, your future. And so these are those timelines they would talk about that wreak havoc within your system, because even God will tell you, everything is in the now, here only. Right now and right here. I have to do that. I can't think about 5 minutes from now. So I need to pay rent too. right? And I have to be heart-centered and not in a matrix component and not controlled by their jobs and fear. And yet we still have to live, right? I didn't have the luxury of owning my home because my ex-husband makes sure that I couldn't. He took that from us. So it's just been me trying to rise out of all of that abuse for many years. So I don't have a mansion, you know, and a lot of people judged me rather than supporting. I mean, that's not a lie. I'm not a paid creator, right? So I'm sitting here and telling you that if I went into fear and I worried about, oh my gosh, my bills are due today, guess what that is? Okay, that's lack. Manifesting, you can't create in lack. You can only create from love and power and heart-centeredness. So time is in the head. That's the matrix. That's ego. Okay. It's a matrix mind. Even psychology will tell you ego mind is not normal. It's a matrix. It's a third dimensional component. So you have to get into your body, which will lead me into meditating here in just a second. because people will tell you to sit in your head to meditate still, and then don't do that. Okay. That's why people struggle with it the most. So I'm going to tell you right now. Anxiety comes from, number one, your body telling you something's wrong. Number two, thinking ahead. Okay. You cannot think forward and you cannot think behind. And you're going to have healers tell you, well, you need to go in your past and heal your childhood. And don't do that. It's not going to do you any good. I'm a master healer. I know. I brought the return of Christ. Okay. I can totally heal you completely back to the beginning of your soul. And we don't have to go anywhere. I will do it right here and right now. Okay. I don't have to take you backwards. I'm going to bring it to you right now. That's the difference. Okay. When we are in the here and the now, inside in our body, not thinking, not worrying ahead, not thinking about the past, everything is going to align with you in the here and the now only. Everything I do right now is going to change my tomorrow and heal my past, because your body is going to bring those wounds forward for you. Your body, your cell, your nerves, everything within your body holds those wounds, holds those memories. Okay. And if we are inside and we're aligned and we're guided by our internal compass, when those energies were coming in, those were going to rise, but we had to know what to do with them, right? We have to know how to hear the messages our body is giving. But wait, we're always taught to be outside of that and take a pill to numb it because I don't want to feel it. Even psychology tries to tell you, oh, just take this pill so all the emotions go away. I remember working in behavioral, and I was the security, basically. I was the safety of the classroom. We had this pilot program, and one of my things that I did through behavioral, I have a psychology degree, believe me, I know what I'm talking about. And I also am a master healer that dealt with the return of Christ. So I truly know everything I'm telling you. But when I was in behavioral, there was this one pilot program that was based out of New Jersey, and they brought it here to Colorado. And I was in Widefield Elementary back then. And I was the climate support. I was the crisis management person, basically, which I also worked the crisis line later. So that kind of gives you a little insight into who I am. But in this, it was the kids that were most violent. These kids were extremely violent kiddos. And they weren't small, right? They were my size. I'm 5'3", so some of them were as big as I am. So people were afraid of them. Teachers were afraid of them. Principals were afraid of them because they would hurt them. These kids knew violence. They didn't know how to communicate in any other form than violence. And they didn't like being told what to do, right? So this was like a last-ditch effort to get them education and to not... Basically, their only other option was Cedar Springs a lot, where they would get medicated and, let's be real, abused. Okay. And so sometimes they would come back to me even medicated. And when they were medicated, I couldn't get through to them. We had to wait it out. I had to make sure they were healthy and eating, because even some people were afraid to feed them. They were just so afraid of these kids. It was sad. And even the principal was like, oh, you're the one taking care of the serial killers. And I was like, my jaw dropped. I was just like, this is a problem with our society. Anyways, in that, there was this teacher that came in, and the kids didn't like her at all. It was a real big battle, and she didn't want to hear what I had to say about these kiddos and why I had them in line. Like I had them in line. They were listening. These kids couldn't even walk the hallway without their hands behind their back. It was like juvenile hall. And I had to make sure they were all in line and following protocol. Pure like disciplined, right? Even in the spiritual world, you need that discipline. Okay. And so this teacher came in and I finally figured it out because one day she just volunteered all this information. She totally escapes her emotions. She numbs them down with medications every day. And I'm like, boom, that's why you cannot connect to these kids. If you can't have empathy and feel somebody's feelings, you're not going to be able to help them. In the psychology field, they won't help you in crisis until they medicate you. Okay. They want you to be numb so that you're not in the state of crisis, or they won't help you. This is why our system is broken. Okay. Because in that state of crisis, you are knee deep in your emotions, knee deep in them, and you need to know what to do with them. Okay. Now, some of us, not everybody, but some of us, those that work in the crisis field and things, we're going to sit with you in those. But as a healer, in order to ascend, anxiety is going to come up because your body is telling you something. You're either thinking ahead, you're still not completely inward. If your compass is not aligned inward, you're going to get anxiety because it's not normal. The world is trying to tell you what you need to do. Your soul is trying to tell you what you need to do. It is screaming at you right now. Not to mention wounds are going to rise. Those wounds alone are going to spark intense emotions and it's going to feel like anxiety. Okay. This is a problem with therapy. Okay. They like to keep you analyzing, analytical, which is not in our heart. That's in our head. I can't think. I need to be in my heart. I go into my heart. I feel deeper. I ask what I need. I ask to see what I need to see, and I ask for them to rise. Okay. And then I deal with them accordingly with the messages that they bring. And then my vibration goes boop, boop, boop. Okay. Because I have literally just brought it to the surface and healed it, but I can only do that in the here and the now. I can't sit here and reverberate over yesterday. I can't sit here and analyze the wound until I'm blue in the face. Okay. That's not going to do me any good. You need to be in your body. So anxiety is a message. It's not telling you, yay, you're on track. No, it's telling you you need to do something to get on track. And you can only work from the here and the now. You have to understand that. God will tell you that now, here, and nowhere at the same time. I believe he even told me it's in the Dead Sea Scrolls. There's some writing in there about being in the presence of now, here, and nowhere. That's where everything is found. Okay. So understand your body with the emotions. It's all messages. It's complete messages and insight into what you need to heal and release. And if you can't feel them, if you cannot sit in the deepest pains and deepest emotions, and you avoid them, you're not clearing your karma. You're not healing. Okay. So that's going to bring me into meditation, because how do we truly get into our body? Meditation is taught the wrong way on a large scale on this planet. Okay. And God has told me this before. I tried to teach about it before, but I didn't deep dive into it at that time. It is in my courses. It is in my workshops. Those that work with me, I dove into it with more, but I've shown videos about it. There's one that I really, really agree with. It's Getting in the Gap. Wayne Dyer did a Getting in the Gap. I did my own Getting in the Gap in my awakening. It was on this channel because some people they don't like religion. It sparks something in them. And in Wayne Dyer's Getting in the Gap, he uses the saying, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come," because God is in your heart. Okay. And some people have wounds within that. So I did my own version of joy and different words that you could use to get in the gap. Okay. Getting in the gap tells you, because here's the thing. A lot of monks and a lot of people are going to tell you to sit with those thoughts and just let them go by. And I don't tell you that. I don't do that. I cannot sit here and let my thoughts just go shoom, shoom. My mind's just going to keep creating them. And it's shoom, that's all chaotic mind. It goes with the term mindful. Your mind is not your own. Do you realize that? You have a lot of conjunct from the collective soul in there, blah, 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 and the matrix component. That's why it's 666. I did a video on that one too. Why do they call it 666? The number 6 represents your thoughts. Okay. So the first part of power you have to call back is your mind. That's Mount Shasta. That was the false veil. Okay. Mount Shasta was filled with souls in darkness and blood, and they took the portal of gods from Fiji and put it there. And so they were controlling you through manipulation of your mind. Okay. This is why meditation is so wrong. They just need an adjustment, God says. So in order to truly meditate and get out of your head and into your body, how many times do you hear people saying, I can't quiet my mind? It becomes this battle with their mind. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, you spent years creating chaos in that mind, connecting to the chaos. How many times do you pick up your phone, electronics? Are you constantly thinking and escaping? You can't sit still. Anxiety, not in the here and the now. All of these components go together. Okay. And then for meditation, we'll ride the waves of frequency and sound. So this is really important for those who truly want to hear me and want to ascend. I mean, you're kind of on your own now, but you don't have a lot of time, right? The earth is not going to sit here and help you anymore. So with meditation, you have a lot of people telling you to just sit within, to quiet the mind, or basically to be able to sit with those thoughts and be an observer. Being an observer is good. In the next video I'm going to really deep dive into observations versus speculation, because that's a whole nother topic. Okay. So being an observer is necessary. You have to be able to get there. But what you want is that almost like stargazing, right? Where you kind of go into like zone out. You ever heard that term, zone out? You want to get there through meditation, zoning out. Like I can meditate with a flower or with a flame with my eyes open and no thoughts are present. I'm just in the energy and I feel the energy waves and I'm just rising with that energy flow. Okay. So you don't always have to close your eyes to meditate. But it's really good to start there. So getting in the cap will tell you, okay, your mind is chaotic, right? So you'll pick some words. It gives you a focal point. You'll pick the word, you'll spell it out, and then you'll go into the gap of it. And you'll wait for as long as you can, and your brain is going to start getting chaotic again, because that's what it's trained to do. So then you jump to the next word. So the way Wayne Dyer would do it is hour, space. So he would spell O-U-R in his mind, because your mind is busy. So this is retraining your mind for a reason. And then he would get in the gap. Essentially what you're doing when you're getting in the gap is going into your heart space. Eventually you'll learn that. You'll get in the space between, and then your mind starts going and it starts to pull you, right? And so you go to the next word, Father, F. In your mind's eye, you'll spell out Father, and you'll go back into the gap between the words. That's getting into the gap. Okay. I did it with like joy and different words for those who had healing with the religious part, because you don't want that to stop you. Eventually you will want to start to open up to God in your heart. So it's hour, gap, stay until your brain starts to pull you out. Father, gap. And so you're controlling your thoughts, calming them. Then you will control what thoughts come up and calm them. And then eventually you'll keep going, as your brain starts to try to pull you out to thoughts. You'll do the next word and you'll spell it, and you'll move forward into a new gap. And eventually you will stay in that gap as long as you can, to not let any thoughts come up. That's what you want to do. It's a pull against you, because it's a shadow component. It's going to try to stop you. You're also so programmed that way. So it's going to fight you. So you're going to want to really stretch out how long you're in that gap every time. Okay. It's true. This is a very good awakening component. And essentially you realize when you're in that gap, I would like drop below and I would find myself like just zoning out in the gap. And then eventually the gap was everything. The thoughts stopped pulling on me because I pulled my power back. And I said, no, thank you. I would put them in a bubble and send them away. That's another tool. And I would sit in stillness, and then I would expand my stillness, and I would expand my stillness until eventually I was always in stillness. The moment I would just close my eyes, my whole world became encompassed in that stillness, the here and the now only. Okay. So meditation is wrong. You don't want to sit with those thoughts and just watch them pass by. You're not taking your power back from your brain. This is very important. Okay. Because they teach you wrong. All right. Most people, not everybody, obviously. Wayne Dyer was trying to tell you the right way. Deepak Chopra even talked about this. I learned that after my awakening and stuff. I don't follow him all the way because I don't like gurus for a reason. But Deepak Chopra would talk about, hey, you do it until. So you get in that gap. It's so important to get in the gap in the morning, noon, and night. Like, you have to do it as often as possible. Getting in the gap is you're taking your power back from those chaotic minds, from the collective mind thing, because you're going to have a pull on it because it's mindful. It's everybody in your head. So you want to be mindless. Mindless is the key. Okay. The less you're in your mind, the better you are. So I even teach conscious tracking. If you're struggling with that, track into your heart space, track into the palm of your hand, in your mind's eye, just track down your body and focus on the palm of your hand. I also noticed that breath, when you focus on your breath, your mind can also take over. It's somehow like attached to that too. So hang on just a second. I got DoorDash messaging me. I ordered groceries. And I just got to make sure they're coming. So I'm trying to tell you about this because it's very, very, very important. Bear with me. Because we've been taught wrong. So if you can't control your mind, if you cannot call your power back from your mind, you're in trouble. So if you're sitting here battling with the mind and you're letting your thoughts just go boop, 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 you're not going to make it. Hang on just a second. Okay, so I had to pause it. So I don't know what that did. For some reason, the DoorDasher had to call me like so many times to tell me my delivery was here. Like, I'm good. Anyways, so it's a little complex, but I need you to hear me. They've been teaching you meditation all wrong. Okay, because if you cannot get the power back from your mind, you're not making it through the first portal. Okay, that is their mind control. You won't make it through this portal. Okay, you have to be able to stop your thoughts, and you do that through getting in the gap every day, like as much as you need to, because you're unprogramming it. You're taking your power back from your mind. Do not sit here and just let thoughts go by and be an observer, because you're not taking your power back from your mind. Okay, because the only way to get through the entire return of Christ is to have that power and control, to realize when the thoughts pop in that are not yours, to know what to do with them. Okay, and this is how you're going to do it. It's also how you can tell if you're listening to spirit or a shadow. Okay, because you're going to tell, your mind's going to be calm and it's going to come in and you're going to be like, that don't feel right. That's not a high vibrational thought. You know what I mean? That's not my thought. And so this is why you have to call your power back from the mind. They've been teaching you meditation wrong the whole time, which is what also causes anxiety, my friends. Okay. That will also cause you anxiety because you're outside of your body. Your body is screaming at you to do something, to heal this thing. Okay. And calling your power back is healing. Okay. And so make sure you're getting in the gap, make sure you're choosing what's coming up and you're forcing that quietness, and keep doing it and keep pushing down into that gap. And if your brain pulls back out, write the letters in your mind's eye and go back in the gap. Okay. And then just expand that gap. And the more you do it, the more that gap expands, and the more your mind calms, and the more you're going into your heart space. That's why he does Our Father, art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, because God is in your heart, my friends. These is just, it makes so much sense. because you want to be in your heart. You want to be in your heart and in your body and not in your head. Okay, that's the another only way through. That's also where you start to call your power back from the matrix, and you'll start to detach from the matrix. So can you be controlled by your matrix jobs? No, that's because money is your focus. You're a powerful manifester. Okay. And if I'm in lack and fear and, oh my God, my bills and all of that control and nasty conjunct, I am not a manifester. I am not trusting my own space. I'm not trusting spirit. I'm not trusting the universe. And I'm definitely not heart-centered and creating from my heart space. The only way to create from your heart space is to get the power back from your head and get in your heart. Okay, that's number one. So to truly meditate, you want to go in as much as you can. Calm those thoughts and drop into that space, okay, of quietness. Use body tracking, so you'll take it to the next level next, and you'll go into your body and just feel into your body. So when your body is screaming at you, you'll want to conscious track into that space and talk to it. What are you telling me? What do you need me to do? I give you permission to rise fully, and I set you free, those kinds of things. But we weren't taught to understand our emotions. This is what is wrong with our mental health world. Okay. I come from that space. I have a psychology degree. I worked the crisis line. I worked with those that other people didn't want to work with. Okay. I stopped suicide attempts day after day after day for a good 6 months solid. All right. So I get it. I know how powerful those emotions can be. Those wounds are. I know how much pain can be present and how hard it can be to really, truly take your power back in that moment and dive into really what it's telling you to do. Okay. I get it. I was severely abused by my ex. They diagnosed me with CPTSD. I have OCD diagnosis. I'm considered disabled, anxiety, those kinds of things. My dog is my service animal. So, and I have a letter to prove it from my primary care provider. So I get it. Okay. I get it, but it doesn't mean I didn't heal myself, right? They couldn't heal me, but I healed myself because they don't have all the keys. The medical field does not have all the keys. They were created and designed in the matrix. Okay. Not to say some components aren't needed. Okay. But what they're based in is not love. I know that's hard to understand. But you shouldn't be outside of yourself giving your power away to others. Okay. Your body is going to tell you what you need. You need to learn to listen, to go within your body and hear it. Listen to the messages it brings. Okay. So please stop meditating the way they tell you. A lot of monks and things like that will tell you to just watch the thoughts go by. I can't do that. That does not work for me. I have to call my power back, and I'm going to train my brain. Then eventually you'll take it to the next level. Then you're going to ride the waves of frequency and sound. So then when you start seeing these synchronicities come up, it's because your body, the world is telling you, yes, you're on track, but it goes deeper than that, right? So you'll see 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3s. Oh, that means I'm doing something right. I can Google the meanings, but it goes deeper than that. Okay. You have to be understanding of how to ride those waves and those frequencies and sound and get the messages spirits personally communicating to you in them. It's complex. Okay. It's true. They don't teach you this all the way. I know that. I did courses on this too. I'm telling you, every course, every workshop I did was your keys into the new earth. That's who I am. I didn't just bring the return of Christ. God didn't do that to you and then just leave you hanging. I had every tool and every healing thing you needed, right? But not enough people were choosing beyond the resistance to see it and use it. So God said, enough, you're on your own. And he skipped your opportunity to heal karma before the karmic wrath hit. Okay, that's what happened. And so until you gain your power back from your mind, you're going to have more anxiety within your body. If you're not escaping the matrix, you're going to have anxiety within your body. If you don't know how to use those waves of frequencies and sound, like that Victor guy who told you anxiety is a sign of awakening, no, it's not. It's still a sign that you're not in your body. And there's healing to do and things like that. He talks about how he stopped listening to the frequency waves and things like that. The synchronicities, they're more than just synchronicities, you guys. They're very important. This is how you ride the waves of frequency and sound. Tesla would talk about this a little bit, 369 codes. All the workshops I have done are at 111, 369 time frames. Like, I'll do them certain times, certain days, and there'll be like a 6-day gap of healing. It's all there. Okay. Because you're riding the waves of frequency and sound. That's the only way to raise your vibration all the way. That's the way to go from 0 to 100 and stay there. Okay. It's not instant. You have to work your way out of the low vibration to the higher vibration. You can instantly feel better, but you have to keep that going. Okay. So start getting in the gap, right? Get out of your head, get in your body, taking control back of those thoughts. You have to expand the quiet path. Okay. The quietness, the stillness, the here and the now only. You can't have thoughts. You can't be in the chaotic mindful state. You can't be. You have to be in mindless, no mind, body, energy, emotions. Your body is going to tell you everything you need if you can listen. Okay. It's going to tell you. Then when the synchronicities come up, you need to ride the waves. You'll need to meditate with them immediately. No matter what they are, they're going to have deeper meaning to you than what you can Google. Google might validate something within them, but you also need to be within, paying attention to your body at that time to understand fully what spirit is communicating with you. Not only that, when you meditate with those frequency waves of sound and numbers, you're raising your vibration each time. You're expanding your meditation path. You're telling spirit that you're listening to them as well. So you're going to get more. Okay. So go in, just meditate. What are you telling me at this time? What's going on? What do I need to see? And then you be the observer. So my next video I will do is the difference between observation and spectator. Okay. The Matrix wants you to be a spectator. You need to be an observer. And I'm going to deep dive into that because that actually goes into the next stage of awakening development. Okay. So learn to get out of the gap, get in your body, and not let fear and mind control convince you, because the shadow is going to get in your head and tell you, hey, you need to go pay your bills. You can't be stupid. You can't be, that's so not right. Okay. It's going to create fear, havoc. It's going to try to get you to think and to think into tomorrow. It's going to fight you. It's going to tell you you're not worthy. It's going to tell you all these things. It's going to try to get you to throw asshole energy at other people. Don't do that, especially the work I did. I've warned of that many times over, because you're mocking God. Okay. It may not be what they told you it was going to be, right? It's not just a guy named Jesus. I've told you that. It's back to Adam and Eve, Sekhmet and Hours, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, undoing the Holy Grail and what that really was, undoing all darkness back to the beginning of time, Mount Shasta. The Sphinx is where Horus rose from. So everything they've told you is a lie. Do they all know what it is? The elites do. And they just lied to you. Okay. So when you try to understand what's happening through matrix components, you're detaching from God. I see people do that to this day. Well, I go to do research on what God says, and you're going to detach because you're going to find it in here. Okay. When you're ready, when you rise to the wave of the frequency and sound that is required for that to be known to you, you will understand more. Okay, so this is where awakening comes in. If I'm inward and I'm meditating and I'm focusing on the earth providing me the frequency waves and meditating and creating from my heart space, I don't get anxiety. Only when I'm not listening to my body and I'm in my head do I get anxiety. So I had to meditate deeply, very quickly. I meditated so much in the beginning of my awakening, like so much. As I did, and I money came when I needed it because I knew what to do. I would listen to my heart. I would follow any nudges. I was creating and I was trusting, and it would come through. It was always there when I needed it. But if I go into fear and lack and think, oh my God, and a panic ensues, then I'm going to block everything, because that's energy. Okay. Lack is your only thing you need to avoid, right? Lack, fear, matrix components being escaped from your body. When your vibration is rising and it's that of love from your heart center, and you listen to your body every time something rose, and you use the word as your reflection, the world around you is the reflection, and understanding inward, going inward to understand from the heart space, feeling it, not here. When you feel the components to totality, you'll get the sudden knowing, and it's cleared. Okay. Like the lesson becomes clear and you're like, oh, I did that. I bypassed, but you have to do it inward. Okay. This is very, very, very important. Then you ride those waves as they come in. You're going to feel sounds of the earth and you're going to meditate on that. You're going to see those synchronicities and the way the world communicates with you, and you're going to meditate deeply, deeply into them. Because number one, they're a frequency. Ones talk about an ascension portal entry, like it's a way to step in further. There's something to gain here. There's a way to go further. And there's also, it's complex, right? So you need to know how it's personally talking to you and how it relates with what's going on in your body. So for those people who are like, I don't use synchronicities and blah, blah, blah. No, you need to deep dive into those, because it's not just a synchronicity. It's a communication and it's a frequency wave. So each time you do that and you meditate with them and you deep dive and you get into that gap very calmly and as long as you can with that number, you may not always get a message, but you're raising your frequency. You are rising in ascension flow. And then you just keep going and keep creating from the heart center, you know, whatever nudges come up. Oh, I need to read this book. I don't know why. I just feel nudged to read this book. So I'm going to read this book. Oh, I don't know why I was nudged to create Hertz music. So I just created Hertz music. I don't know why I was nudged to create a YouTube channel. I didn't want to be on YouTube, but God said, do it. So I just did it. He just said, you know, you're not like anybody else. Just do it. And I'm like, okay. And I would follow that nudge without hesitation, without hesitation. And then lo and behold, 5 years later, all of the return of Christ happened on this channel. So understand how to meditate, understand how to call your power back from the mind. That's the most important thing you could have done. That would have started your really true journey. If I am meditating and I'm riding the frequency waves and I'm listening to my heart center and I'm balanced from the heart center, I do not get anxiety. It doesn't matter what wounds rise up. I go into my body, I listen to them. I don't get anxiety. My vibration goes boop, 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 boop. Anxiety comes from a low vibration state where you're outside of yourself and you're still in your head. Your body's screaming at you something's wrong. Okay? I loved this video. I hope you heard all of it because it's very important all the way to the end. Very. Thank you to the one person on YouTube that wished me a happy birthday that was not in my inner group. I appreciate you. Only one person did, and I really appreciated that. So I see you and I love you, and I'm just going to send you so much grace and miraculous wonder and ability to really, truly make it through is my wish for all of you, really. So much love. We are in the final portal. I'm in the new earth, and I can't focus on the matrix because it's a different world, and I'm not going to bring that vibration in, but it is a karmic play out and it's void of love and light. Okay. So much love to all of you. Woo woo. I wish to see you all on the other side, but you know, even I know that probably can't be true, that the whole world would make it, because there's so much shadow and healing that needed to be done. Till next time, my friends, the new earth is beautiful. I'm going to go bask in the glory. I'll see you next time. Bye.